morning and welcome to the L137 show by Kiki. I hope you've all been doing well this week. I'm feeling great and I'm, doing very well. I just wanted to pick up from when I stopped last week. I'm here telling you about my testimonies and things that God has actually done for me in my life. The walls that I've broken up till today is just amazing. You don't even understand. And I'm also here to teach you in how to receive. Because, hey, there is a way and process in which we need to receive. But a lot of us do not understand it and do not know how and what sort of prayers to even pray to receive. So here I am. I'm here to teach you and to share my testimony in how you can also receive. So last week I talked about my journey with God and how I literally received Him. It's basically very interesting. I had a road traffic accident, and through the accident, I went through depression. Through my depression, that is when the calling of God actually started, in my life. I went through a stage when the enemies wanted to take my kids. They wanted to kill my kids. It's like they wanted to kill me or my children. It's one of us, somebody needs to go. So literally, I basically got closer to God because I realized that the things going on in my life was not normal. There was something wrong somewhere. But then one bizarre thing is when everybody sort of like when I go to church and the pastors will see me, they'll tell me, "Oh, you have a great future. You have a very bright future." And I'm thinking, where is it? Where is this future? How is it gonna come? But one thing that you need to also realize is that the enemies know and sees our future. They sees that bright light around us when, they see us. So they know that you've got a certain great future, and that is what they battle with. And one thing that I've realized as well is that the enemies always think that we owe them something. When they're doing anything to you, they think that we owe them, but we actually don't owe them nothing. That is why God said that vengeance is His and He will fight our battles. He will pay the debt that the enemies think we owe them. God will pay it for us because we know physically we don't owe them nothing. But then with them, they feel like, yeah, we owe them something, oh, you owe me your life, you owe me this, you owe me, you owe me your appearance. It's like you owe something. The enemies always, So I'm just here to talk about how you can also break down those bad boundaries to actually receive what God has for you. Like how I broke down my boundaries for me to receive. So, so as I became born again, as I was saying last week, I started to go to the Deliverance Church. And then I started to have the dreams that I told you about. The first time I went to the church and I came back, I had a dream whilst I was stepping on cats, I told you. And God told me that the meaning of that was the enemies and the witchcraft and things was under my feet. So that is why I see me stepping on cats. And then, another stage as I was praying again. But one thing that I realized that I did most was I prayed a lot. I left everything, relationships. I made God my mom, my father, my sister, my brother. I made God everything in my life. I made Him basically the main focus point in my life because I needed His help. I basically blanked everything out of me, like literally, and I gave everything to Him. So when I call on Him, I'll call on Him day, and then I'll call on Him at night. I'll fast. I remember when I first, started to fast as well, because I was like literally still around my accident time and my depression and stuff. I was taking medications. So I would fast from morning 6 to 12. So I'll do that every day. But then as every week progress or every day, I'll take it till about, first I started with 12 and then I ended at 1 and then 2. And then like it got to a point that I can fast the whole day. It was no problem. Yeah. So, yes, I was doing that, calling on him. And I would say to him, Father, if you do not answer me, I will not stop calling. You need to answer. You need to answer. I'll pray day and night. I was calling. I will cry to him. But one thing that I was also focusing on is to receive my tongue, is to be baptized by the Holy Spirit. Because I felt like I needed to be really connected to him, in a very special way. So one day as well, I was still in my house praying, concentrating on how to receive my tongue. And there I received it, and then I became more stronger. But one thing that I realized is that the enemies, whoever was causing whatever in my life, they started to feel very uncomfortable with me. They started to feel very uncomfortable me being prayerful. They started to be very uncomfortable me being churchy. Like I would not miss church. If it's 7 days a week that I'll go. But one thing that I realized as well is that whilst I pray, and then the harder I pray, the stronger I pray, they suffer. They suffer. So I'll have phone calls from them, confessing to me, I did this and I did that. I'll get really shocked, but God will also give me a vision and tell me, my daughter, if they did it to me, your God, they will do it to you. He made me aware that the closest people to us sometimes are the people that would literally hurt us most. We're receiving food and gifts and stuff into our home. Sometimes the enemies, they come as this lovely person, somebody that adores you. This person is here to help me. When I'm in need, they are the ones that will cause your calamities, but they are the same ones that will bring you, something. They will bring you things to pretend like they're solving your problems. But then they are the ones, they will come and pretend like that. So you would actually open your mouth to tell them a whole lot about, because you actually see them as your helper. So you would tell them, oh, I'm going through this and I'm going through that. So they know exactly what, is happening. When it happened to me, God said to me, you were telling your calamities to the same people that was causing your calamities. And then he gave me a scenario. He said, you were like Daniel. You were in the lion's den. But the only difference between you and Daniel was Daniel had me. And then you, at that moment in time, you didn't have me. So when the lions was released to you, because of your innocence, when they bit you one, that's when I had the accident. When they started to bite you and they bit a little bit of your limb, I picked you up because of your innocence. Because he realized that I was innocent. I was loving and caring for the same people that was causing calamities in my life. So God has to take over and help me break down walls that I needed to break down. But one bizarre thing is that he made sure he separated every single person that was not good for me in my life, that was preventing my calling, that was preventing my grace, my future, that was preventing so much. I went through a stage when at that time that I wasn't truly, spiritual, and I didn't understand spiritual things. I would go to a relative's home, and, while she's sort of like pouring drink for me, she'll be talking on the drink and talking in a cup, like, and I'm thinking maybe we came at a bad time, maybe she's upset that, me and the kids are there to visit. I did not understand how somebody would speak on your drink, and I would take the drink and drink it because I didn't really understand what it was. But when I became spiritual is when it dawned on me, like God actually showed me that it was incantations. They say incantations on drinks and stuff. And, whilst you receive what you receive the drink thinking, oh, I'm so thirsty. And, this nice person has offered me drink. You drink it and you take it and say, thank you. And then you drink it. You've collected your calamities. You said thank you to it. And then you've drank it for it to dwell in your life. And that was what I was doing blindly. And my life was in shambles. It was not right. But my God fought a great fight for me. But then he did not allow any pastor to tell me anything. He did not, because sometimes with the enemies, when you're actually telling them, oh, you caused this in my life, or you caused that in my life, they will tell you, oh, the pastor that is telling you things is a liar, is not a true pastor. So God did not allow any pastor to tell me anything. God himself was telling me things. He himself will show me things. He himself will guide me through things. He will tell me when anything is about to happen. It got to a position is, if they're planting anything against me or anything is about to happen, he tells me. And then he tells me the way to prevent it. So he will tell me, this is what they're about to do. But before you do this and that, pray on it. Do not receive anything. He would give me directions in what to do to prevent it. So, I became like this person. Whilst before the enemies would plan anything about me, I would know, and then I'll dissolve it even before it begins. Like God will help me solve it before it even begins. And then as time goes on, with getting too close to him, I begin to hear him so clearly. But one thing that I started to do was, I started to, when I'm praying and I'm going through stuff, I will pick up a story in the Bible and I will place myself into that story. So for example, I picked up the story of the woman that had the issue of blood. So whilst I'm praying, for a breakthrough, I will close my eyes and then I'll hold onto my bare sheets, or onto my quilt. And when I close my eyes, I imagine me holding onto God's garment. And I'm praying and saying, Father, as the lady with the issue of blood held onto your garment by faith, and you turn to her and say, you are healed. That is the same way as I close my eyes. I'm holding onto your garment and I can see you turning to me and telling me it is well. I am healed. I have got you. I am fighting for you. I'm breaking down walls for you. I pick up scriptures and then I hold on to it like that. So you out there, if you have any things that you're actually going through, if you have any ailments right now, wherever you are, when you sit in your sitting room, wherever you are right now, I need you to say these prayers, refer to God, the woman with the issue of blood, as the woman had faith in God and he held, that garment, and then she closed, she said to, that Father, as I hold on to this garment, my issue of blood is ceased. That is the same way I want you to do right there, right in your homes. Hold on to your garments, pray and say, Father, as I hold on to your garments, whatever is happening in my life, if it's fruit of the womb, hold on to God's garment by faith and say, Father, I see that you turn to me and say that you would have your baby. You are healed by faith. I'm like, I've been through so much. But if I will sit here today and speak to you, listen, God is not a joke. As he did it for me, he will also do it for you, because that is the kind of God he is. I had a discussion this week, that somebody was asking me about altars and churches and, why we needed to present money, and, God gave me a very simple explanation with that. And it's because the world that God has done, like basically, he has made the world to run like you need to plant seeds for it to grow so that you can eat its fruit. So if you don't plant your food, it will not grow for you to eat its fruit. If the woman don't have a seed in their stomach,